because he's a good player. But in this game, you need to focus. You have to play well against any Hamilton. Otherwise, you can shake his hands and then you were gone. I think I got a good record against him, but
you won't count for much tomorrow, though.
No.
I've just seen you on the practice board there, working with your manager Ed. What are you specifically working on, Raymond?
Well, we went to my sponsor Unicorn. They said, well, okay, try these stems, these flies, and it's a bit of a struggle, no time to test them good, because three days before. I wasn't pleased the way I'm playing, so I'm doubting now. Go back to the old ones or go back on with it tomorrow. So we have to find out tonight.
Okay, keep working on it. Thanks, Raymond.
Cheers.
I don't know, but for me, Rod, the changing of darts that Raymond van Barneveld does. I mean, he's won World Championships 5 occasions. Yeah, he goes and changes stems, changes his flights, mucks around with his game, sees a psychologist, sees this, sees it. He messes around too much, doesn't he, with his game?
I think a lot of players do, Dave. I think, when he won the World Championships with them darts, and then he see that Phil Taylor's darts go in at that angle, he thought, I'll have a try at that. But when it didn't work, go back to your old darts. Go back to your old stems, your old flights, because he was an absolute brilliant player with them. But since then, he has changed his darts, flight stems, as you said, and he's not been the same player. I mean, sports psychologists are coming into every sport, they will come into darts. Sometimes a look in the mirror can half help,
You do that a lot, Rod.
I do it all the time, Dave. Especially with this makeup.
One of the fun things that they draw through a battle of the Jenkins is. They're not brothers, but there they are. The Bull against Andy Jenkins, both speaking of Rod.
Well, all sports have their big derbies. Does this count as a derby? Jenkins versus Jenkins, Andy?
Obviously, when you're playing your older brother, it is a derby, isn't it?
I want to say that.
He looks younger than you, though, doesn't he?
Does he?
No. Go on, what's it? I know it's just a coincidence thing, but what is it like? I mean, do people assume you're related in some way, shape or form?
Yeah, every time we go away, everyone thinks he's my brother or I'm his. It should be a good game. We have a bit of a giggle between each other on the circuit. I mean, he's older, he's number 1, I'm number 2. At the moment, he's higher ranked than me. So tomorrow, I'll have to prove it myself that I'm better than him. So
playing well tonight, though, Terry.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, hopefully I'll play better tomorrow. I was a bit disappointed with the way I played tonight. No, I was happy with the way I played.
What's your record like against him? Go on, tell us.
I don't think he's ever beat me. No.
Has he?
I always beat him. You know what I mean? I always beat him. I always beat him in Isle of Man, always in final. So I'll stuff him tomorrow and all. So
I'm sure we'll settle the argument tomorrow. Good luck, both of you.
He's having it tomorrow. He's having it.
They're laughing and smiling now, Rob, but I know there is real rivalry between those two. In fact, Andy Jenkins once had a T-shirt printed when he was really rising up the rankings, said, I'm the number 1 Jenkins.
Yeah, well, Andy's always been a guy that likes to have a dig at players. He's happy-go-lucky most of the time, but then digs sometimes go deep. And him and Terry have had little bits of talking to each other at times over who's
Anything
the
you
best.
can tell us about, Rod? No.
Well, there was a little confrontation in Bournemouth one night, but I love to see it now. I used to have them confrontations, as you know. You can't live in a sport like this where there's adrenaline flying all over the place without having the confrontations.
There's a heck of a confrontation earlier on, the match of the night, James Wade against Peter Manley. If you missed it, you missed an absolute cracker.
Manley knows, hang on to your throw and you're through. Wade, though, like a wounded animal, Sid, can suddenly produce, I'm sure.
What a cruel game. About 10 years ago, held the Premier League darts trophy aloft at Wembley Arena, having been king 30-net. Here's Wade in this maelstrom. This veritable crucible of darts. Manley, natural, inspired darts. Taking
Manley won the first 3 legs coming back, 5-all at the second break, but Manley's won both legs since they came back. And
85.
85. Manley a lot to do here, but what an advantage the man in pink has, Sid.
90 plays, 87 in the averages.
100.
Favour of Manley.
95.
And the tension shown in the holder. Trouble. Too fast! What a shot! Oh, what a match this! 7-6. What a belter.
Yeah, and again, super stuff there from Wade. Knew that he had 70 left with 2 darts. You go 20 bull or treble 20 double 5. Same principle as when you won 130. He went the 95 route that way, 25, treble 20, double 5. Super stuff. Wonderful to watch.
Well, what a 5 months has James Wade had. Was brilliant in the Premier League, ended up the boss of the Premier League, had 108 average in the Premier League, with 8 180s one night. And suddenly, Manley has got to have a big run here to get to Blackpool in Las Vegas. So one's holding the crown, and one's trying to outbet that cards. What a mixture!
Well, Chrissy Manley looked fairly passive in the early part of the game, and understandably she's getting a little bit excited now as Peter Manley looks at 98, double 19 he wants. He's gone for 6 double 16.
70.
Mr. Big Six. Mr. Big Six there. Wade desperately needs red blobs, desperately needs a red bit now, John.
Yeah, double 14 will see him through. Wade's left himself happy, 105. He's just taken out 95 for Manley. Won't let him have a go this time. 8-6. Look at Chrissy Manley now.
A bubbling cauldron of excitement here, echoed by your commentators in Bolton, as Manley goes in about 14 dots to sink the holder, James Wade.
60.
Yes, and all credit to a man who was 3-1 down and yet not given up. James Wade will not give up that victor, his 4th maximum.
And now we'll take it higher. Fantastic match. We're looking not to drive that under the barrel. Remember, he just needs 1 leg for victory.
And Wade
60.
knows that if he can take this one, he will only need 2. That 16th leg, should we require it, and at the moment it looks as though we will.